Hello and welcome back to Operations with the Void. This week we will be running Cherry Blossom, specifically with the meme of the ship that is the Graf Zeppelin. My personal Graf Zeppelin is the black version, so it has a nice black camo, but otherwise it's identical to a normal Graf Zeppelin. Now it's a meme of a ship because it has more artillery than most light cruisers in the game, with a total of 16 150mm guns. So, naturally, anybody running the Graf Zeppelin, it should be secondary spec, especially with how bad the planes actually are. With that, we will get Cherry Blossom was brought back to the operations with the operation rework. It had a few changes, which if you want to, I can go into, and you can ask that in the comment section. But they don't really matter. The basis of the operation has stayed the same. There will be 2 regiments that you have to defend. If you fail to defend them, it's an automatic loss. Once the regiments have been successfully defended, you will have 2 air bases that you must go and attack. And if you fail to destroy the air bases, it's a loss. So there's 2 and if all the allied ships die, it's a loss. So you have 3 ways you can lose. Now, the first wave of enemies are 4 destroyers, and they pop up fairly quickly. If you notice how close they are with ships with radar, can usually within like 15 seconds they could pop their radar and already detect them. I think it's 15 seconds. Anyways, if you notice, secondary's got a kill with that. I'm hoping for a torpedo, but I'm not expecting much. And even if I do get a torpedo hit, it's a little. But really, as a carrier, what I'm doing is making sure that the destroyers stay spotted, so that the allies can get them, or my secondaries can get them. I think someone else has them on Hydra or not. Either way, the destroyers there have about a minute and a half reload for their torpedoes. So if you don't destroy them quickly, they will throw torpedoes at you. And if you don't see them for a long time, because you didn't pop hydro or radar or didn't go close to them, then they will stealth torpedo you because they are stealthy, with the nighttime feature of everything being stealthy. Speaking of nighttime feature of everything being stealthy, the Graf Zeppelin gets a good little over 2 kilometers of stealth firing. So Graf Zeppelin gets to open water stealth fire. Now, these 2 cruisers, they don't move, they don't activate to AA, they don't use any consumables until they are hit once. So if you can get up to them before they activate, in fact, if I launched my torpedoes further away, it wouldn't have mattered actually because someone else hit them. Then they don't activate. So if I could have my planes over here when they spawn and then launch torps from further than right next to them, they wouldn't move, and so I could use the 6-kilometer distance of the torpedoes to be able to get a second strike on before they activate. But a lot of people are trigger happy, so that's not going to happen, hence why I'm just going close. And here I set fighters out to try and keep the destroyers spotted. As a carrier, fighters are important for spotting tools. Very important spotting tools. And so what I'm doing right here is I'm expecting torpedoes to be coming, and so I'm actually going to try and turn in. Now, to successfully defend, I believe you need to kill all the ships except for 2 or 3 of these ships to have considered it a successful defense. And the ships up north, they don't spawn in unless either a timing or you get close. So if I were to fly my planes over there now, they would spawn in. But as long as no one goes up north, the ships up north do not spawn. When I say north, I mean the Bay Area where the aerodromes are, and we'll see that in a moment. Unfortunately for most things, the Graf Zeppelin, it really only has torpedoes. So for these destroyers, torpedoes is more or less the only thing that it can be used against them. But unlike the German tech tree line, the torpedoes are extremely slow. Extremely slow.
Wir haben einen gegnerischen Zerstörer versenkt.
So, getting a torpedo hits on destroyers is usually more luck than skill. Anyways, once the retreating happens, there's 2 more destroyers that spawn up north. There should be, we're going for a torp run on them, hopefully. I don't know why I turned it back around. Because that's where they are. So we're using that destroyer as a guide. And there's the other one. We weren't able to get a run on that one.
Gegnerischer Zerstörer gesunken.
So now I'm using the map view to set waypoints. For autopilot. Not that I actually trust autopilot. And we're going to go head into the bay and see what we can hit. And I'd swap to bombers to save my torpedo bombers. And also because my torpedo bombers, I used my fighters for spotting. Used them all up, so in order to have fighters to help defend the... Who am I kidding? I'm not helping defend. I'm just going for the greedy fighter kill ribbons. But if you notice, the cruisers, they all spawn way up north. So when they first spawn in, that's where they're going to spawn in. If you spawn them early, that's where they're going to spawn in. And the torpedo bombers, the enemy aerodrome torpedo bombers, I think they're similar to Issei Tone torpedoes, where there are a lot of them and they don't hit hard, but they have a very, very, very short arming distance. So, where I am next to island, the torpedoes could definitely hit me if they landed correctly. Or aimed correctly. So, if you're going to try and dodge torpedoes from the planes by snuggling up to an island, you have to be up against the island. Almost no water space. And, yeah, so originally, Dawn didn't break as just a light switch. That's a bug that's been introduced since the rework happened. Even when the rework, the first patch or two for the rework, after the rework, there was no issues, and somehow that happened and nothing's been fixed for it. So, prepare to be blinded when you're running Cherry Blossom. So, any German, even Parzival, yeah, the tier 6 ones not so much because they have such a limited secondary range, but the tier 8 German carriers, they should get up close and be in secondary range. Because even the 105s of the tech tree ones, they can do work against destroyers. So that's what I'm just doing here. I'm sitting here so that the main fleet of cruisers and all that can't shoot at me. But there will be, one by one, ships will come down and try to go against the nearest ship in that channel. So if you're in any other ship, they will go down that channel for you. Now, the tech tree carriers, they're nice enough that you can, if you're spotted normally, you have secondary range. So you don't have to have the worry like I am now where I don't have secondary range but I am spotted. Graf Zeppelin doesn't get that nice, cool feature. If you are alone, you can use the rocket planes to strike the aerodromes, since they are HE. Don't bother with the bombs because heavy AP caliber or anything with a long fuse for AP does nothing against aerodromes. The short fuse of British cruisers and German light cruisers from long range and German destroyers from max range, they will do full damage against the aerodromes, but any other AP will just do minimal damage, and so you need to use HE. And so now we're just moving up to get in. The ships do have a limited number of spawns, and eventually you can kill all of the ships. However, that will not stop the operation, and you still need to destroy the aerodromes to finish the mission. Damage and then damage to the AA defenses and the aerodromes does nothing for XP. The only thing that has any point of XP is the ribbon itself for destroying it. And with that, that's a successful cherry blossom. With all 5 stars. And everybody survived. And even with doing that damage, it's usually the cruisers that are going to top the board. Like, that was a decent game for a carrier, but the cruisers are still going to top the board. And that is because the operation was originally available only to Allied cruisers. But here we are in a German aviation cruiser. So, if it had longer range secondaries, I'm sure the Graf Zeppelin would actually do a little bit better, but unfortunately they don't get the longer range. I'm not sure if they, yeah. I think no, I don't think AFT and BFT, the old skills, did anything. Anyways, with that is Cherry Blossom. I hope you had a good time watching. If you have any questions or comments, please place it in the comment section below, or you can talk to me directly. If you have, I've posted the link to the Discord that I play ops in on this. And well, if you liked the video, like it. If you didn't like the video, don't like it. Subscribe if you want. No, if you don't want to subscribe, I'm not going to tell you what to do, because I'm not your mother. Have a good one, and I'll see you next week.